Morning, fellas. Ben back again with another one. A quick review of my Bell MX9. Okay, so here goes. 2 years later, about 20,000 kilometers on the motorcycle with this particular helmet. Long distance touring, road riding, off-road riding, plenty of off-road rides, plenty. I can't tell you how many. Plenty of crashes. I mean, those are stickers that I've used to mask the scratches on the helmet. But then again, a fantastic product. 2 years ago, this was selling at around 17 or 18,000 Indian rupees. Now they have upgraded the model, and what sells now as an MX9 is 24,000 Indian rupees, which is quite expensive. Puts it under the premium helmet category. But then again, I don't care much about premium, non-premium. What I wanted was a versatile helmet that could do it all, and a helmet that I would just, have with me for years and years to come. Which could just take any amount of beating and would not break, crack, and will have me looking for parts. And that's a really messy process, if you guys know what I'm trying to say. It's just going to be too much of a hassle trying to look for a small ratchet here or a button there, or bits and pieces, because it's always the retailers in India especially, they just have the product, they don't have the backup. They sell you the helmet, and then when you have a crash and you go in for replacements, nothing is available. This time, this is about me and my experience with the Bell MX9 for about 2 years and 2 months, I guess. So yes, of course, I have them separated. I was just cleaning the helmet. My usual maintenance procedure doesn't just apply to the motorcycle, it also applies to the helmet as well. And windshields or pulling the visors out becomes a bit of a problem. And so this, I can guarantee that this is the best system available. Super easy, 3 knobs, very old school, very mechanical, very conventional, I would say. And there you go. And you can use this on off-road terrain because of the fantastic field of view. If you look at this, the size, the sheer size of the visor allows you to see more, allows you to see what's right below you, and of course you can look up straight too. And you can of course, if you just look at that, you can see at that angle. So that is extremely important when you do off-road riding, is because you do not constantly want to tilt your head to look at what's in the what's below you, and then raise your head to look upwards. So just the eyes moving up and down will do it for you. And that's the best part of having an adventure helmet, is because of this one factor alone. The more you see, the more safe you are on off-road terrain. This little plasticky thing, a small plastic layer, the yellow layer that you guys can see. I will definitely attach a graphic image of how this sits inside the helmet. Right here somewhere on your screen, you'll be able to see how this sits inside the helmet. I can of course pull it out, but then again, it's a bit of a hassle to put it back in. So any which ways, simple, straightforward take on the MIPS layer. That is, just take this fellow out. Yeah, those are the wires that you guys, it's my mic. And yeah, so this is another additional foam layer from another helmet that I kind of stitched, as you guys can see here. I've kind of chopped it and stitched it to suit the shape of this particular helmet. I wanted an additional foam layer on the top of my head. So this is another lining layer from another helmet that I had, or I still do use that for street use. And so this comes from the lining of that helmet, and I've just kind of put this in here as added cushion for my head. But that being said, that is the MIPS layer. You guys can see it's a simple plastic inner shell, or whatever it is that you want to call it. It's a simple membrane, a plastic membrane attached to if you guys can see, those are knobs, and this attaches to the thermocol layer or the inner shell. And the best part is, if you watch carefully, this moves independent of the outer layer. You know, you crash like this and then you go like that and all that. The rotational forces reduce on your neck and your head with the MIPS layer. Initially, this sounded Greek and Latin to me. I didn't really think much of it. Went ahead and bought it just because I had read good stuff about it. I watched some videos and people did say good things about it, but there was not a single video online which showed how it works in practical conditions, like people having a crash and then coming up with testimonials. But to my surprise, I had plenty of crashes on this helmet, or with this helmet, and then I can't tell you how much of a difference that little thing makes. It looks funny to be talking about something as silly looking as that. A plastic membrane that sits in between your lining and your inner shell, and to think that, you know, that will make a difference, but then it did make a ton of a difference. A fantastic addition. I will definitely leave links for you guys to go and read about MIPS on the description. You can definitely check those links out to know more about how MIPS works, and there's plenty of material online about MIPS layers, and MIPS is not something new. It has been in existence for a really long time. Plenty of manufacturers have used it. I don't really know who holds a patent for that, but then again, plenty of fellows out there who have tried MIPS on their helmets, and it's definitely new age technology to reckon with. And yes, so that's another additional cushion layer that goes inside the lining, is because I want my head to be held really well with the lining. I want my MIPS layer and the lining to just grip onto my helmet, to my head really well. This helps with protection. So all you need to do is just duck, and the visor takes care of all the beating. And apart from that, this also acts as a sunshade and keeps you kind of, because this doesn't have a drop down visor, sun visor inside. This is a very old school conventional model with just the single visor, and it's not even a day-night visor. It's a plain transparent day visor. This comes with a double D ring system instead of the ratcheting style system that I don't like much, is because they tend to come loose when you have major crashes. This is the safest thing out there for any fellow who does adventure riding. And so that's a double D ring system, and that does the job for you. It's an extremely dangerous thing to have this hit the surface, be it pavement, be it tarmac, be it a rock, be it a mud, be it gravel, name it. Still, this is an area that you need to protect. 90% of fatalities that happen due to on-road accidents is due to the fact that either the rider wasn't wearing a helmet or was wearing a cheap quality helmet that just went flying and the head came landing on the ground. None of the crashes have gotten to me. I have not even felt a thing when I crashed with this helmet. Just takes care of the crashes like, it was nothing. All the money that I've spent, I would say I have already gotten the returns with this particular helmet, is because of the number of crashes this has taken, and it's still standing, surprisingly. Nothing, not a tiny crack, maybe some scratches here and there, but then it's bound to happen with time. 2 years, of course, you ought to see some scratches at least, but this thing has taken all the beating. Absolutely no trauma after the crashes with this helmet. No, nothing. The head just doesn't feel a thing. The rest of the body would be battered and be in pieces, but the head just doesn't feel a thing. So if you guys manage to get yourselves helmet which have fantastic field of view, a big, look at the size of this. So it's all about how much can you see without really moving your head up and down, tilting your head up and down. If you get to see a good chunk of the road without going up and down, without tilting your head up and down, then and only then that helmet qualifies for adventure riding. Off-road riding and on-road riding are two totally different things. Your focal points change with off-road riding and with on-road riding. So kindly keep in mind that, you know, where you look at when you're on neat and clean paved tarmac and where you look at when you're on off-road terrain are two totally different places, two totally different points. And not just that, there's a lot of looking for trouble on off-road terrain, whereas that's not going to be the case with on-road. With on-road, all you need to do is just have so much of field of view and you're good to go, is because most of the riding is kind of, you know, memory bagged riding. You're just looking for the one odd element out, whereas on off-road terrain you're looking for just about anything and everything that could cause your ride, cause you trouble. So that's the whole point behind having an adventure helmet. And by the way, this is a DOT and ECE approved helmet, and so there's absolutely no need for me to go ahead and add to the credibility of the testing, is because both tests have been conducted on this helmet, and ECE approved helmets mean just one thing, that they are good to go. You can wear them and be on the road and have crashes without a worry, is because the helmets will not put you in any kind of trouble. There are only two downsides to this helmet. One is the weight of the helmet. I think this stands at about 1750 grams, and that's quite heavy. You may not feel it much on off-road terrain, because, you know, your rides will come to an end in about an hour or two at the most, and you will find yourself a spot to rest. But if you wear this helmet and if you're going to be on road for hours and hours and hours at a stretch, 6 to 8 hours of riding at a stretch, then of course this is going to put a lot of strain on your neck muscles. And your traps will definitely feel a pinch after a point of time of wearing this helmet. And added to that, if you were to mount equipment like this, if you have GoPros and your silly GoPro converters, sound converters, and or adapter, and then a mount, and then these fellows, these fasteners, all of it adds another 200, 250, 300 grams to the helmet. So you're looking at about 2 kilos on your neck, in comparison to a lot of other new age helmets which come in at about 1400 grams, as light as 1400 grams. So you're looking at 300 and 350 grams more than the competitor. Other downside that I have, I can't really call it a downside, is because I knew what I was getting myself into, is the fact that this helmet makes a lot more noise than any street helmet. One, because of a larger field of view. Two, because of a visor that doesn't shut like an airtight seal. Three, because of a large opening at the bottom. So there's a lot of air that is getting into this helmet, and chin vent like that. So there's a lot of air that's getting into the helmet, and all this air definitely is bound to make a lot of noise. This is by far the loudest helmet that I've used in my life. Yep, that is something that you will get used to with time, and there will be fellows out there who will, no matter how many miles they put on with this helmet, they will still not like the fact that, this is a little too loud. So that again is a subjective matter. So these two things are things that are the only things that I will call as a demerit to this particular helmet. One, it's a little too loud. Two, it's a little too heavy. So if you guys can take both of this as not as demerits, but as things that come along with buying adventure helmets, then there's absolutely no need for you to think twice about going ahead and getting one for yourself.